Well, we started the program this morning talking about financial literacy and budgeting, and we're wrapping it up talking about some information that will be of interest to individuals who either are homeowners who may be in trouble with their mortgage and individuals who may want to purchase a home at some point. We're bringing in our experts at Bridgeport Neighborhood Trust. Over the past 13 years, Bridgeport Neighborhood Trust has not only been a great friend to the award-winning For the People here on our radio station, but more importantly, they've counseled more than 3,000 families and individuals, assisted almost 800 to achieve home ownership, and since May 2014, they've served 100 clients through its foreclosure prevention program, 25 of which, about a quarter of them, have avoided foreclosure. So that's going to be part of our conversation this morning a little bit later as we meet Doris Latore. She's the foreclosure prevention counselor at Bridgeport Neighborhood Trust. But we're kicking things off with Beverly Hoppy. She's the home ownership education director, and we're here this morning to promote the Home Ownership Academy, which is an innovative training program helping people throughout Fairfield County buy and keep their home. So thanks for joining me on this first leg of the journey, Beverly. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about at least the history of the Homeownership Academy.
Well, Bridgeport Neighborhood Trust is located in Bridgeport, but our outreach is countywide, Fairfield County. However, our services are open to all. And we are a nonprofit. Our focus is housing development, homeownership education, foreclosure prevention assistance. I manage the first-time homebuyer program. We are the Academy, which is part of our rebranding strategy to get the word out about what we do, is really the educational component that we offer, and their classes, workshops, and everything regarding the home buying process, on buying a home, keeping a home, maintaining a realistic budget, saving for that goal, fixing your credit if you need to do that. And the wonderful thing is all our services are free. For folks that need more in-depth counseling to become mortgage ready, we also have certified housing counselors on board that, work with clients on a one-on-one basis to come up with a game plan, an action plan to be able to achieve that wonderful goal or dream of owning their first home. It's an open enrollment process, so there isn't any particular time you start with the Academy.
Yes.
Our services are open to all.
No semesters. You just
exactly.
drop.
But that's a thought. Maybe we might do that in the future. But right now, it's open enrollment.
That's great. Well, the exciting thing for me, learning about this from our mutual friend, Ms. Torres, your executive director, Elizabeth Torres, is that this not only comes at teaching about home ownership from that very personal, most important decision anybody's ever going to make standpoint. It sort of stands on two legs, not just that one, because it also concurrently introduces the concept about how critical home ownership is for maintaining and improving neighborhoods and communities. And I think that's a fantastic way to maybe, even in some respects, take some of the heat off, or at least reduce the tension and nervousness that people may kind of internalize because it's not all about them anymore, right?
Exactly. I couldn't have said it better. I mean, as we know, homeownership is a key wealth creator still, in America. And as counselors, some of our clients, not all of them, they really need a little bit more extra hand-holding. They want to buy, but they don't know what's involved, and it can be very overwhelming and confusing. So we break it down for them, and then we explain the process, either during one-on-one counseling sessions and also in the monthly education classes that we offer. We're offering over 160 classes spread throughout the year in 2015. They're up on our website. But if there are any perceived or real barriers, we actually help them to break down what those barriers are and develop steps to overcome them so they can reach that goal. It may be a couple months away, it may be 6 months, but we've worked with clients long-term where it might have taken a year or so to get them mortgage ready. For many of our clients, the two barriers primarily are lack of savings or they need to work on their credit. And since we are also able to help them with those issues as certified housing counselors, it's win-win for everyone.
I just want to let folks know, if they're interested in learning about that huge selection of workshops and classes, it's as simple as going to the website for the Bridgeport Neighborhood Trust. That's bntweb.org, and that'll give you all the information, as well as perhaps giving you the gateway into beginning work with the Homeownership Academy. So a lot has been happening in the world of real estate and mortgages over the past decade. As we sit here this morning, Beverly, what are a couple of the most important things individuals need to either know or have prepared as they sort of push the boat away from the dock?
That's a good question, John. I would say not to hesitate. If that's your goal, to really contact us or another HUD or CHAF-approved housing counseling agency and get started in the process. And there are a couple of reasons for this, because I think one-third of the home buyers each year in the country are first-time home buyers. And as we know, the economy is changing. There have been some, hiccups, some real estate cycles we've gone through. But right now, if you're really thinking of buying, don't wait, folks, because with the very low interest rates out there right now and overall low home prices, what you can afford right now is going to change drastically over the next 2 or 3 years. Matter of fact, I just saw CHAFA's interest rate posted a few minutes ago. CHAFA, as you know, is the Connecticut Housing Finance Authority, and they are a state guarantee agency. About 60% of our clients get CHAFA mortgages. They only make loans to first-time home buyers, and these are very low interest rate loans with very low down payment requirements. In fact, they also have a down payment loan to assist folks who don't even have the funds for down payment and closing costs. But their interest rate today, that I believe that they posted on their website, is 2.87%. You can't get any lower than that. That's a 30-year fixed rate, no prepayment penalty.
Right. And
of course, there are other options like FHA loans and conventional mortgages as well, and our clients choose from a variety of those.
Yeah, and I was going to say, the worst thing, this is not like if it doesn't work out the first time, you can never do it again. The worst thing that could happen is that you will not qualify, at which point you and your program teach folks the steps and hold their hand. You stay with them till they achieve the goal.
And one of the things we incorporate in our pre-purchase counseling is to let them know we're sort of like a one-stop shop, John. So because we have our foreclosure education and prevention program, which Doris Latour is going to talk about in a few minutes, should they find that now their situation has changed drastically because of a major life change, decrease in income, illness, divorce, what have you, we now have a program to assist them in hopefully staying in their home, because there's a lot of scams out there, and people are still losing their homes in Connecticut, and Bridgeport or wherever, has a very large foreclosure rate still. But I also want to stress to your listeners that even though there's the Bridgeport in our name, Bridgeport Neighborhood Trust, the other reason for the rebranding, the Homeownership Academy, is that we're not Bridgeport-centric or focused when it comes to our foreclosure counseling program or our home buy education program. We're open to all, especially folks in Fairfield County. Excellent. And they do come from all over.
That's great. The Bridgeport Neighborhood Trust's Home Ownership Academy covers two important areas. We are talking first about buying a first home, and then we're going to come back in just a moment and talk to Doris Latour, who is engaged in foreclosure prevention. So we're going to have you hand over to Doris while we let people know that the Junior League of Hartford is an organization of women committed to promoting volunteerism, developing the potential of women, and improving the community through the effective action and leadership of trained volunteers. If you made a resolution in 2015 to to meet new people or to give back to your community, then you need to get to know the Junior League of Hartford. Go to jlhartford.org while we reel in Doris Latour. She is foreclosure prevention counselor at Bridgeport Neighborhood Trust. Doris, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So we heard from your cohort there about the ramp-up process, but I guess even before you enter into a home ownership arrangement, you really need to be aware of how not to lose it, right?
Absolutely. We are big proponents of getting education ahead of the game and be prepared for both life as a homeowner, but what happens when, the hiccups in life, and what happens if something changes and it's a life change that causes a drastic change in finances and put you behind on your mortgage. We do education up front, and we do education to remedy that. So the program, as Beverly spoke earlier, consists of one-on-one counseling and education. We have an array of classes that we offer in workshops, from, becoming a homeowner to financial clinics and what happens, in the foreclosure process in Connecticut and what to do to save your home.
So for the majority of people who are already homeowners and they find themselves in that position to dial homeowner 911 to get Doris Latour because they have experienced that problem and they are either anticipating that foreclosure could happen, or they are, heaven forbid, in the process of receiving those foreclosure warnings. What are the issues that you most see amongst your clients that get them into trouble in the first place?
Well, I think what we have seen, obviously, in the last couple of years is the downturn in the economy. There have been a lot of changes in the housing arena. Has been a lot of changes financially in all over the country, but we've been highly affected in Bridgeport, in Fairfield County, and in Connecticut. So we see a lot of folks that have lost jobs, that have lost one income maybe there was a two-income household, now there's only one, and we see a lot of folks that are underemployed who had lost a job and have been able to get employment again, but they're not making nearly what they used to make in order to meet their current obligations. We see a lot of that. I mean, there's always, obviously, unfortunately, death, divorce, sickness, things happen,
yes,
but overall
life
we just see life crisis. But overall we see a change. It all results in a change in finances, but usually the main culprit is a loss of income through a job.
So do you get a lot of people who have suffered a life crisis, a loss of a job, and they just essentially at that moment think, that's it, I'm going to lose my house, there's nothing I can do about it, and yet there's a lot they can do about it?
And, that's a great question, because the answer is yes. We do see a lot of folks. What happens first, right, is panic. I mean, we see it's sort of like a pattern. People first sort of in denial, like everything else, right? When we go into sort of mourning crisis,
yeah, they're lost.
They're
lost at sea.
Yes.
And they don't hear any helicopters.
That's right. That's absolutely right. So they think that there's nothing that can be done, and when in fact there's a lot that can be done. We actually, Connecticut is a very, as we know, consumer-friendly state. So there are programs that exist here that do not exist at a national level. So there is an array of programs nationally designed to help folks, that distressed homeowners that are in crisis. But there's also local programs in a state level, or so municipalities also have them available. And if people don't ask, if they don't come in, they're not going to know. And we see this all the time. People come in and say, I did not know that existed. I know that Beverly talked a little bit about SHAFA, but SHAFA has a program that is the Emergency Mortgage Assistance, which is designed for people who have had, who's in this type of having this type of issue right now. And the program is designed to bring the person current and also give them financial assistance towards the mortgage payment for the next 5 years. And people are always extremely surprised when they hear about it because they just never heard of it. There are other local programs and small grants, sometimes designed for a specific targeted area. And of course, there's the national options, programs out there like a modification, like an in-house modification, forbearance agreement. There is really a menu of options, but people are not going to know unless they come in and get help. It's free. It's available to them. We sit down with folks one-on-one, look at the particular of the particular household finances, particular situation, and based on that, along with the homeowner, we make decisions. And we usually have like a plan A, plan B, plan C, and then we go that way. We also are able to send folks to other resources. So there is also a program in Connecticut for folks who have been behind more than 60 days. They can go and get an education in a different field, if you will, to be able to gain employment in a field that may not be obsolete or in a field that might be easier than the one that they're in. And a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people come on to us and say, well, I already went to college, or I never been in college, and the money's there. We have a group of folks right now who graduated last week from getting pharmacy technicians. So, they went to the program, and now they are going to be able, the field that they were in was pretty obsolete on jobs and pretty down, but now they just became pharmacy technicians, and they are in the process of gaining employment.
That's
and
great.
That makes a huge difference. So we're not only helping them save their homes, but we also giving them the tools to keep the home in the future.
More reason than ever, as you're hearing from Doris Latour at the Bridgeport Neighborhood Trust. She is foreclosure prevention counselor at BNT. We also met and talked with Beverly Hoppy. She is the home ownership education director. They bookend the innovative program, the Homeownership Academy at Bridgeport Neighborhood Trust. It's not just for folks in Bridgeport, but for folks throughout Fairfield County and beyond. If you want to learn more, go to bntweb.org.